Hello, welcome to Barely Qualified with me, Morgan. Alongside me, as always, is Ryan. We are barely qualified to be talking about Formula One, but we're going to talk about it nonetheless. And this week, we are previewing the upcoming Austrian Grand Prix with all the World Cup hype going on in the world at the moment. It's sometimes easy to forget that there is a Formula One race coming along, but coming along it is. Ryan, what have we got on the pod this week?
Well, it's just a preview, really, isn't it? A preview about the next race and who we think the podium might be, who we think we need to watch, and we have a cheeky guesstimate of our top 10 entry, surprise top 10. Um, Maybe a bit of, I don't know what you're doing with your grid rival or what I'm doing with grid rival. Could be some discussion about that. But and then maybe just a bit of F1 news or whatever's been in there lately, really. So yeah, I just did actually think of something. I was just um, I reminded myself just as you were doing the intro. Have you heard the rumours about Alonso? This could be a good place to start. The rumours of Alonso going to Alpine.
I have heard those rumors. I mean, I would say ordinarily I wouldn't necessarily believe a rumor like that, but because it's Fernando, I'm fully believing it. I think I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm saying that it wouldn't surprise me if it did happen. It's the sort of thing that Fernando would do, and I can guarantee you, if Alonso stays at Aston Martin, they continue to have a crap car until he retires, and then 2 years later they've got a world-beating car. If he chooses to go to Alpine, then Aston Martin will get a world-beating car within 2 years of him leaving, and Alpine, who are on the rise, obviously because they've got the Mercedes engine now, looking much better, they will do something to mess that all up, and they will continue to have a terrible car. It's just the Alonso way.
The Alonso curse.
Whatever he's thinking of doing, he should do the exact opposite, and then maybe he's got a chance of having a shot at another world title.
Yes, I think that the headline was something like Aston warns Alonso we're going to have a rocket ship to think about leaving or whatever. So, I mean, yeah, I can't really if he does go, I don't think I really get that. I get his relationship with that team and with the boss man there, um,
Briatore,
but
yeah, of course, yeah.
Briatore, but I don't really understand why you would leave. You've gone to Aston Martin to do a project. Okay, it's definitely gone backwards this year. Um, but you got Nui there. They got more money than God. Um, you know, I don't quite see what's
It
the
doesn't
point in
make
the move.
it doesn't make any sense, and that's why I was saying
Because Alpine aren't going to win a championship, right? Alpine aren't going to suddenly win a championship in the
no,
next two,
and
three
that's why I
years.
said if it's any other driver, it wouldn't make any sense. But because it's Fernando and his history, I believe it might be something that he's entertaining. It, Aston Martin is his final Hail Mary, right?
Yeah.
That's what it is. He wants to win another world title. That's why he's still going, and he thinks he still can. I think if he gets a good car, that particularly if his teammates Lance Stroll, he definitely, that's the easiest. Was it 42-1 now in qualifying over the last 43 races? So that's the easiest
Stroll
time.
trigger warning. Stroll trigger warning.
But that's the easiest title he's ever won. So Aston Martin is his Hail Mary, like you said. They've got money and they've got Nui, and if he's not got long enough to keep doing these jumps every few
No,
years,
no, no, no.
he's got to
No, he,
stick
I
with
mean,
it.
he must be pretty settled there at Aston. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it must be. I know I'm trying to put myself into his sort of like world now. I mean, surely driving to that, the facilities that they have now, all the testing facilities, the wind, like it must be amazing. Like it must be,
Yeah,
if you're nearly retired, that's definitely a good way to go. Like when you think of like the old boys when they do, they normally have like a less team, probably a team that doesn't have state-of-the-art facilities,
like
doesn't have all these things.
take Bottas and Perez for example. Going
Right,
to a
well,
Cadillac.
I mean. Could be similar though, actually, to Alonso. Like Bottas and Perez could then now be like, oh my God, brand new team, Cadillac. Look at all these brand new facilities. I think they're shipping and moving. They've got teams in different countries, haven't they? Actually, but
Yeah.
they're going to move everyone. I want to say to America, but maybe that's not. Maybe they're moving people from America to maybe the UK or
I'll be
something.
honest with
But
you. I've not spent enough
yeah,
time looking at
yeah.
Cadillac, so
We,
I'm not
we,
sure I
we,
can
we'd,
correct you
we'd,
on
we'd
that.
have to, we'd have to refresh our minds on that. But obviously they're going to because they're making their own engine, right?
They are. They will be making their own engine. Yes.
Yeah. So they're gonna, I think, wherever that is, they're moving to. But we'll have to, someone that probably barely qualified here. They're going to correct us on that. As you say, not been following Cadillac all that much, but I think it's more like say like Raikkonen when he sort of ended his career at Sauber. No, yeah, Sauber. Was it Sauber?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so it's a bit like good
Or
history,
a
but not.
Hulkenberg, who's sort of ending his career now down the grid. Not that he
Yes.
ever really made it quite to the top of the grid, but I think he knows that he's never getting a top drive ever again, and he's quite happy. But like you say, he's not walking into the Aston Martin brand new wind tunnel, and he's not watching Nui pull up to work in his Aston Martin Vantage, whatever. You know what I mean? Like that if you're going to go out, that's a,
Yeah.
that's a sweet way to go out.
Oh, mate, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, you must look around the place and think, oh, yeah, we could win a
If
world
anywhere is
championship
going to
here.
work, surely that's what's going to work. Obviously, this year has gone horrifically bad for them, but you know the facilities and the money and
I mean,
everything.
I hate to say it, but eventually, if you do spend enough money, most cases it seems to work. Like,
Yeah,
particularly in F1, right? Like, it's not like you could be a Man United and spend a stupid amount of money on players over the years and still get nowhere near winning the league. But I think in F1, where money is so important in terms of building a wind tunnel or building these facilities, a simulator, paying the cream of the crop to be your leaders in that kind of like project. Like Adrian Newey does not come cheap.
no,
So it's like if you've got the money, eventually it should work. Um, so Alonso, yeah, you need to stay put, man. I think
stay put,
I
Alonso.
think I think
Still, it'd be
you would be
fun.
mental.
It'd be fun. It's a very Alonso thing to do. It'd be fun.
And it wasn't even
Um,
that long that he was actually at Alpine, was it? Really? He was at Alpine before
well, it was before it was
Aston, wasn't
branded
he?
as Alpine, wasn't it? Or was it? Was it already
No,
branded Alpine? No, it was still
I'm,
Renault at the time, wasn't it?
I'm sure he was at Alpine. I'm sure that he was
I
at
guess.
Alpine.
Well, I mean, they're the same team, right?
Yeah, but I'm sure that he had gone there when
Maybe
he was
my
at Alpine.
maybe my
First
barely
year.
qualified memory is failing me. Maybe they
I
did
think, yeah.
rebrand when he was
I
still
think I
there.
might be right there. He was there with
There's so many
Ocon.
rebrands in Formula One.
Ocon.
Sometimes it's hard to keep up. He
He
he.
was he was there with Ocon
You're
at
right.
Alpine
No, you're
first
right.
year.
I can see the livery now. I can
Yeah,
see it in my head. You are,
yeah.
yeah, okay.
Because they had that picture, I think, of all the drivers, didn't they? Had like I think it was like Alonso, Ocon, Piastri, like their kind of like driver pool, and it was like bloody hell. Um, speaking of Alpine, and another Alpine driver that I know that you want to discuss this week, Morgan, is Pierre Gasly.
Yeah.
So
Well, not specifically Pierre himself, but
the
um
going-ons of
the
Alpine and
goings
that third
on
place.
with his third place in Monaco. I mean, I less want to talk about the penalties. I think that's very clear. We've kind of covered that in pods, and I think it's been covered by people in general. Like everyone knows what happened with the penalties. More just like the general can of worms situation that we're currently in. Like so basically, Pierre Gasly gets his, the penalty's unfair according to the whoever it is that got put in to have a look at it, and it was unfair, right? I get it. It was an unfair thing. It was possible to go the speed limit in the pit lane, but because where they were set up, you could go faster. Fine, okay. So we overturn it, but it now has created this huge can of worms. Bless you. It's created
Thank you.
this huge can of worms where okay, so you can't do that with Russell, right? And all of the other penalties, some penalties got applied, some got applied after the race, etc., etc. So it just it now it's a nonsense. It's a complete nonsense. And the only logical thing, right? Mercedes have now withdrawn their appeal because they're like, well, we're withdrawing our appeal because there's no practical way you could give Russell his place back. What place would you give him? You know, who knows what would have happened in the rest of the
Exactly.
Grand Prix?
Yeah,
Like
he could have crashed. He could have done anything.
yeah, you just can't say. So so they've withdrawn their appeal, but McLaren and Red Bull are still carrying on their appeal. And the only sensible thing to do is to just say, look, the penalties happened, right? Some were applied during the race, some were applied after the race. At which point we're going to say that because none of them should be applied, but some of them have been, they now all have to be. It's as simple as that. And I can't see any other potential option for it. I almost kind of whoever this body is, I forget who the body is who's actually overturned the penalties and said, yeah, fair enough, Pierre, you're reinstated to third place. But like, I kind of get what they're saying because basically what they're ruling there is that the penalty was unfair, which it was. But all of the penalties were unfair, not just Pierre's. And so they've got to undo all of them, and they can't undo all of them. So I almost feel like they just did it as almost like a sort of a nod to the fact that the rules weren't applied correctly. And somebody raised a really great point that I don't know if you remember, Ryan, but there was this one race at the end of 2021 where some rules weren't applied correctly in Formula One. And, some people suggested that, if you applied the rules correctly,
He wrote a letter. He wrote a letter.
then the result of the race could have changed. But
Yeah,
that's
shocking.
not how we did things then. And actually, you know what? Like what happens on the track is what happens on the track. And who knows what would have happened in the Monaco Grand Prix if those penalties were never applied in the first place. It would have been a very different race. You race differently knowing you've got a 5-second penalty, knowing
Yeah,
you've got to gap people, you've got to back people up, you've got to do whatever. You've got to get away from people, or it's
could have
pointless
been
overtaking
pushing.
the car
Could
in
have been
front.
pushing. Could have made a mistake.
Exactly.
Engine could have failed because
Exactly.
you pushed too much.
So you just look, I think Formula One and the marshals, not the marshals, obviously
Stewards.
not the stewards, sorry. Yeah, the stewards need to hold their hands up and say, okay, actually, it wasn't our fault in the race, but in terms of the way that we set up the timing beams and all of that, we need to put a procedure in place to make sure that doesn't happen again and apologize and then move on. And I mean, let's see what happens with these appeals. But I mean, it's made me really feel quite, we use the word the ick quite a lot on this podcast, but I'm going to
Icky.
use it again. I feel very icky about Alpine and their decision to even bring this forward because we're now in a situation where it's being discussed and it's a mess and there's only one way out of it. And if that's not the way that we go, honestly, it makes me so disillusioned with the whole process. If Pierre gets to keep third place, I want him to keep third place because I love Pierre Gasly, but it just doesn't work for Formula One at all.
No,
So here's hoping.
it was a very odd decision. Like when it actually come back, like when you found out they were a pin, I was like, oh right, yeah, well, all right,
That won't work.
not going to overturn that, are they?
Yeah,
And
they're
then
just doing it
they
for
have,
appearances.
and you're sitting there like, really? And it's so stupid, isn't it? That like here we are, like weeks later talking about it, but in the moment that it's then announced that he did, and obviously we've had a race, since then that where they were talking about it. I was sitting there going like, that's mental. Like that means that you could, like as you said, I think on one of the previous pods, like where would that then end? Like where would someone like, oh yeah, so got a penalty for that, but actually shouldn't have got a penalty for there because of such and such. So therefore, I'm appealing for that now. Um, you know, but then because I've got that, then that person then was affected, so that team's now appealing because that team appealed and they won. It's like it's
It's a
really,
nonsense. And we want the racing
yeah.
to happen on the track, right? And when people cross the line, we want to know that that's where they're going to finish.
And it's so stupid that literally, I mean, I know there's a world championship at stake with the other, controversial decision that you mentioned there. But it's like you've overturned someone for third place because you think they should have had it because you've then found out that the speed of a turn that isn't quite working. Things, but there's so many things wrong with Abu Dhabi in 2021, where you know cars didn't unlap themselves into the correct places. Um, you know, it's just mental, and I know like that would have been, and do you know what? It would have been horrific that you had to. Um, I would say, and not to obviously go over old ground, but I mean, the best solution basically then was I know they didn't want to end under a safety car, and that's how someone wins world championship. But you know what? That's what you should have done. It just is what it is. So a lot of people will go, well, no, that's not great because I wanted to see races. It's like, yeah, you saw a lot of it all year.
Yeah.
You know, so some amazing
And,
races, and yes, the last 4 laps would have ended under a safety car, but that's just shit happens. You know, like
yeah, and
we
but
can't help it that Latifi crashed into a wall and they couldn't get the unlapped cars around in time. It just happened to be that way. If it was Max in front, everybody would be saying the same. This is the whole laughable thing about the whole thing. If Max was in front and it was him that then was in Lewis's position and lost the world championship, and Lewis won the world championship because they didn't do the unlapped cars and all this sort of stuff, everyone would be saying it should have ended under a safety car. Every Max fan would have been saying that. They wouldn't say, "Oh well, we're just going to accept it." So it's all a load of bollocks. But the FIA and you know Massey did what he did in that race, and this is probably like since then nothing's really happened
no,
to a certain
sure.
degree in terms of
But I mean, there's other one too. Like the other one that's very, I mean, probably a lot more similar in that there's an actual active appeal ongoing. Is Felipe Massa believing that he should be world
course.
champion with the Crashgate scandal, and you know, again, I have a lot of sympathy with Massa, but I don't. It actually gives me the ick that he's still fighting this too,
Yeah,
because it changes things. How many points you have on the board, what your lead is, or what. Like right now, if Kimi Antonelli was 50 points behind in the World Championship, I guarantee you at Austria he would drive differently to how he's going to drive this weekend
yeah,
because he's got a 50-point lead or whatever it is, right? Like, and because that matters, it makes a difference. And you know, you can't just go, oh well, let's just erase this one race. Max Verstappen summed it up perfectly when they said, oh, do you wish that you hadn't have banged wheels with Russell and got that penalty in Spain last season? And he's like, no, because you know what, it's very easy to go back in time and go, well, if you just delete that, then I've got more points and I win the world championship. But that's
yeah,
not
yeah,
how it works. You know, we see
yeah,
it in football all the time. If a goal is scored, momentum changes. Momentum matters
yeah.
massively. I mean,
And also,
speak for
like, I
Kimi
mean,
Antonelli right now. He's got the momentum, you know, like
yeah.
it
I
matters.
mean, I thought at the time, the first thing I thought of, obviously, you know, was when Max, I thought to myself, cool, you know, if he didn't do that. And you do think like that. But at the same time, you think, well, but if he didn't do that, then would he have been as driven? Did that motivate him to then drive like he drove? Or did that inspire Red Bull to think, oh my God, our driver's losing it here. He's crashing into people on purpose. We need to sort our stuff out. You just don't know. You don't know if that thing was actually the thing
And
that
that's
forced him
why
to be.
when the race finishes, you know, you can dole out, you know, you can dole out penalties after the race if you're investigating things, all of that. That's fine. But when the race weekend finishes, that's the result, and it gives me the ick that there's almost this, but what if, you know, it was unfair, so what if you get rid of that thing that made it unfair? Like I'm sorry that it was unfair, Pierre. I am an Alpine. I am sorry that situation even existed at all. It's not great for Formula One. I'm sorry with what happened in 2021 to Lewis, and you're right, if it had happened the other way around, I would feel just as bad for Max. I'm sorry for Massa. That, you know, I love Massa a lot. I liked him as a guy, but it just doesn't sit with me very well at all. Anyway, I've labored the point on this, and we're going on
Yeah,
far
yeah,
too
yeah,
much
yeah.
about it. But it's there we go. We'll see what happens. I hope Formula One takes a sensible pill and just decides, you know what, we're going back to the original race result. Leave it, you know, wash our hands of it and move on. That's the only sensible thing
Move
to
on.
do, and let's hope they do that.
100%, mate. I agree. I concur. Um, Other thing I wanted to mention, so Mercedes and their boys. So there's obviously been a bit of talk about Toto's bringing them in to have a chat with them about how they race in combat.
Yeah,
So, uh, and I heard him after the race in the last race, and he was sort of talking in like Rosberg was talking about how he obviously got them to sign the piece of paper that him and Hamilton had to pay back any damage if they crashed the cars. They had to pay back. I think it was something like €380,000, which is just. I actually don't agree with that. I think that's something bad. But
We discussed that on the last pod, of
yeah,
course.
we did. Yeah, we did. So in terms of, and we probably spoke a little bit about them races, but this weekend, then, do we think that? Did we see a situation? Do we think the team would have taken an approach where they're going to race slightly differently, or do you think that they're going to give them maybe like one more chance to?
I mean, I would say, I say, I hope not. I mean, look, I like McLaren an awful lot as a team, but the whole papaya rules thing was a bit naff last season at times, and you're not here to be nicey. This is Formula One. And McLaren's papaya rules were a little bit too nicey for me. It was right on the edge, and maybe I'm giving them the benefit because I like McLaren so much as a team. So maybe there's a lot of bias coming into that. And I certainly saw a lot of Red Bull and Max fans being like, this papaya rules thing is crap. If Mercedes do their own version of papaya rules, that again, I'm not here for it. I don't mind team orders like, like somebody's going faster, they're on a different strategy, you let him overtake, you're not overtaking the car in front of you, so let your teammate past and they'll have a go, and if they can't get them, they give it back. I'm fine with all of that, all that sort of team orders, deciding, I'm going to let him pit first and then I'll pit afterwards, and if he undercuts me, you let me back through, and I'm just doing that to protect his position. Again, that's teamwork, that's team play, I'm all about that. But telling people, like, you should tell your drivers, try not to crash into each other, lads, But so far, have Russell and Kimi crashed into each other?
No.
So what the fuck are we talking about? Why is it even?
Yeah.
Have they been really close? Yes, but have they always been the right side of the line? Yes. So, I hope beyond hope that they don't tell them to cool it down. And if they do, I hope that a young, brash Italian and a young, suave Englishmen decide to shove their fingers up and just bang wheels anyway, because ultimately they're the ones, actually driving
The trouble is they're both such company men, aren't they?
Yeah,
They are.
they are.
They're not a Max, are they? They're not like
Look, Kimi is Toto's boy. Kimi is the trauma of Max has ended up in Kimi, right? That's why he's even got the gig in the first place. Really, it's because they let Max get away. So surely Kimi's got to be looking at that, going like, I'm the next golden boy, and I've just won 5 races in a row. So
I think Kimi knows that he definitely can push it probably further than Russell.
He can push it further than Russell, I would say, right now.
He brings with him years of, I mean, when you look at the marketing of both of those guys, Russell, he's going to get something, get some ads, all good. But like Kimi Antonelli he's like not just Mercedes pinup, he's F1's pinup, isn't he?
Well,
So
he's the future, isn't he?
he's the
So
future, isn't he? He's the
poster
next
boy.
gen,
Yeah.
next gen.
Yeah.
So I think that he can. Again, people don't think about these things, right? But that is an advantage to him because he knows that he can push it a little bit further. And I'm young,
I'm
I'm still a
young.
bit of a.
I'm
I'm
only
still a bit of a
19.
rookie.
If I've crashed into
Yeah,
him, it was a mistake. It's because I'm a rookie.
yeah.
All those
I'm
things.
just trying to impress you. I'm leading the world championship. Pressure's got to be a little bit. What can I say, Toto?
Yeah, hold my hands up. Oh, it was my
Yeah.
fault.
Whereas like George, they're going to walk in and like, it's like your older brother, isn't it? George, you should know better. You're the older brother.
Yeah, your brother is young and stupid, right? So he's
Yeah.
allowed to make.
He's going to make mistakes, but not you, George. We expect better. And
I never.
George is going to sit there like, I'm fucked. I'm fucked. I'm fucked.
I never had.
As soon as he.
I never had a brother, but I can tell you, my older sister, bless her, she probably had to deal with that more than anybody on this
The
planet.
minute Russell crashes into Kimi Antonelli, or even when Kimi crashes into Russell and he doesn't know, did I brake too much there? Is that why he's gone in the back of me? He's just going to be sitting there going like, oh fuck. Oh fuck. Whatever happens, that's fucking on me. I'm the older brother. Oh
I'm
shit.
gonna
You
get it
know,
no matter what. Yeah.
I'm gonna get this. My brother's
Even
just
if even if I can bring out the telemetry and show that
yeah.
it wasn't my
My
fault.
brother's just gonna cry, and he's
Yeah.
just gonna, he's gonna bring his Italian dad in, and they're gonna be hugging and crying. Toto's gonna feel sorry for him. Oh, what have you done to Anthony? He went in the back of me. Yeah, but you should know better, George. You're older. You should have seen him. You should have seen that he was going to do that, George.
Yeah. Oh,
That's what
you
it'll be.
actually, complete aside, I saw a clip of Danny Ricciardo reacting after the race when he got run into by Lance Stroll. When I don't know if do you remember the race? Like Lance Stroll, literally, I think it was behind the safety car, and they were getting going again, and yeah, Stroll just drove into the back of Ricciardo. Right, and
Yeah, I
then
think I do remember that.
Stroll comes on the radio and he's like, "This guy just brake tested me. Oh my god, he's such a moron. It's all totally his fault, dude." And I don't know why he's American. He's Canadian, Morgan. But that's the
He's not, as the Canadians have told us, he's
he's
not
not Canadian.
Canadian.
They've disowned him. And then
He went to
basically,
Switzerland when he was 2 hours old,
yeah.
was one commentator.
But Ricardo was reacting to it, I guess, while the race was still going on, but obviously was in the media pen, and he was like, it's just one of those things that happens. And then the interviewer said, no, this is what Lance has said, and he was like, that's it. I've lost all respect. I've lost all respect. So I just totally was reminded of that by you saying, if Russell gets driven into from behind by Kimmy and Kimmy's like, oh, I should have known better. Yeah. Anyway, that really happened. Lance Stroll, Danny Ricciardo, crazy.
Yeah. It's
Anyway,
always a great Lance Stroll story to, just to let everyone know why he shouldn't be in F1, but there we go.
there we go.
Um,
Okay, so Austria
um,
predictions. Come on then. Give me your
yes,
top
so,
three and your rando top 10. Your rando, not Lando, top 10.
okay, I've got the list in front of me.
Okay.
I've got a nice little list here, actually. I didn't realise. I mean, it's cool when you see that, you've got Antonelli 5 wins, Hamilton 1 win, Russell 1 win. Yeah. Podiums, Antonelli 6, Hamilton 4, Russell 3. Hamilton is doing very well. I think I need to put Hamilton up there. I think it's going to continue. I think. Oh,
Is he
okay.
going back to back Lewis? Surely not. Surely. Is he doing it?
I think
Is
do
he
you know
doing
what?
it?
I thought about putting the McLaren boys in there, but I still think they're going to struggle.
He
Even though I
thinks they're
think
going to
that the
struggle.
the track is good for them normally, but Ferrari are they're there, and there's only 3 podium spots, so it's like the same. You're taking one of them out, you're taking the front out. I'm like, I'm gonna be maybe a bit boring. I think for some reason I don't know. I have no proof of this, but I feel like Austria is a young guy's track
Okay.
for some reason.
Great theory.
Just think that like
Well,
I don't know.
Alonso and Lewis are fucked then.
This might be because me and you and our mate when we used to race on F1, I feel like we used to race Austria a lot
Yeah, we
because
did.
it's like a short track,
It's
isn't
much
it? And it's
shorter,
just
yeah.
like quite cool. There's everything, isn't there? You've got
Lots
the
of
straights, you've got
overtaking
the
opportunities. Got sort of the two really long straights plus the pit straight. Yeah,
yeah.
there's lots of it's a good
So I
it's a good
think
track.
it reminds me of me being younger. So I then think it's a younger track.
There we go.
Or, but even though I think that, I'm gonna go. I'm going for it.
The tension here is
I'm going. I'm
unbelievable.
going. I'm going Hamilton
He's doing it.
back to back,
Lulu,
bitches.
Lulu, back to
I'm
back.
Luigi. I'm going Luigi. I'm going Luigi. First place. Hamilton back to back. I'm doing it. 2 race victories there in the past. I'm looking at here on Google. I'm then going for. I was going to go Kimi. Monaco. Do you know what? Because I said at Monaco he was going to crash out and he didn't. I'm not saying that again because I look like a tit. Second place, I'm going Kimi. Third place, I'll go Russell. It's boring, but I think it'd be gutting for Russell if he doesn't win. I think he needs to win. He needs to start winning every race at the moment. Hamilton, I'm going back to back. Kimi, something happens, he's finished second. I don't know what. but that's what it is. So Hamilton, Luigi, Antonelli, Russell,
Love it.
top three.
Okay.
Your top three.
Fair. I'm going to go with Kimi, 6 on the bounce, which is starting to get a little bit ridiculous, by the way. 6 on the bounce would be...
Well, he won't get six. He won't get 6 on the bounce, will he? Because Hamilton won last.
What am I talking about? All right, cut them. Bloody hell, I'm going to cut that out. I totally forgot about Lewis.
No, leave that in. Literally just spoke about Lewis.
Idiot Morgan.
You
Idiot.
literally just went, he's going back to back. Well, obviously.
I'm having a mare. You know what? It's really hot. It's really hot. It's so hot in this house. My
Even though Morgan's cut this out, his doors rang twice.
Yeah, my doors rang
He's been
twice.
thrown off. He's been thrown off.
Yeah, bloody Amazon delivery drivers have thrown me off there.
The door might go 6 in a row. Who knows?
Yeah, well, exactly. Right, uncut. Oh, here we go. You're right. It's fine. I think Kimi. All right, I'm going back on the Kimi train then, and he can get back on the Kimi train, and then I think so. Last season, Lando qualified P1, but not only did he qualify P1, he qualified P1 by, and I want to say the number, hopefully I'm correct, 5/10. Because Austria is such a short track, the shortest track in terms of time, lap time, effectively, it actually means the gap's even bigger than that, right? Like, it's really, 5/10 is a lot in Austria. So it's probably more like 8 or 9/10 that he put into everyone last season. And I just think, fair. Lando, that last season at Austria was an unbelievable quali lap. So
he's always been good there, though.
And he's always been good. So I'm thinking Lando will put it on pole. I think.
Wow, pole.
I think he'll put it on pole, but I think Kimi will get him in the race with better race pace. So I'm going to go Kimi, then Lando, then George. I think the Mercedes will have the race pace, and I think that the Ferraris will. I think that it'll then be Lewis, and then a little bit of a fight between Oscar and Charles for 5th and 6th. And I don't think Red Bull. Will be anywhere in this race. I think they're going to be nowhere. I think, but wow. I would then put Max and Hadjar. You know, as long as they make it to the end of the race, I would put them.
It wouldn't surprise me if Max is up there because he's Max and this is Red Bull's track. It also, I'm so tempted myself to put Lando easily on the podium. I'm trying to be like, I think that Lando can be on the podium. I don't know if McLaren can be on the podium.
Well, I agree. And in the same way as Max can definitely be on the podium, but I just don't think that Red Bull has got it.
Yeah. Whereas I think Ferrari are flying high, man.
Yeah.
I don't see it ending yet.
Okay.
Four podiums. Look, Hamilton,
those
podiums.
Those upgrades came in and did a trick, but I feel like the upgrades at the moment are coming thick and fast for everybody. We've had the 2-week break. I don't know what upgrades are coming for. I'm spending all of my time at the moment, all my spare time, watching the World Cup. So I've not really been following the news. We will see what upgrades people are bringing for this weekend, but it wouldn't surprise me if other teams bring a bunch of upgrades and Ferrari bring none. If you brought 8 to the last Grand Prix, it seems unlikely that you'd have a whole bunch 2 weeks later, but who knows? But
who are we considering for a top 10 entry then, if there will be a surprise at all?
I think Austria is.
Well, I suppose it has to be.
I think Austria is a place for a surprise. Like we said, it's a short track, but there are very long straights with overtaking opportunities at the end of them. With this new formula of car, with the clipping and all that towards the end of the I think there could be a tremendous amount of overtaking in this Grand Prix. I think that we could be back to sort of Australia levels of yo-yoing almost in this. That being said, it is quite a short track, so maybe it won't be that hard to, they're allowed to harvest so much energy per lap. But I don't know if they're changing the rules for Austria to limit the amount they're allowed to harvest. Probably are. Don't really care, to be honest with you. But I think there could be quite a bit of yo-yoing. I think it could be a very exciting race. I think there could be a safety car thrown into the mix. And so I think there could be a surprise. So I'm going to go. Here's my
Okay.
surprise. Gabby, Gabby, Gabby.
Bortoletto.
Yes, I'm going Gabby top
Okay.
10.
Gabby top 10. Okay. All right. I'm gonna go. So we're considering both Mercedes will be in there, both Ferraris will be in there, both McLarens will be in there, both Red Bulls will be in there.
So there's only two spots,
Possibly both Alpines will be in
and
there.
and the Racing Bulls, right? I think
Between those two, right?
between those two
So
teams. So you've already got 12 people for 10 places.
yes. So if you pick someone from the Racing Bulls, which you've done a lot lately, haven't
We
you?
yeah,
You
we've
know,
done yeah, we've done that. Yeah.
Lindblad. I think that Lindblad could get in there
Oh,
quite easily. I think
I think
Lawson. I think Lawson could get in there quite
yeah.
easily.
I don't even
Have they
think it's
moved in?
that random anymore. I think it's
No,
where they
that's what's
should
making me think.
finish.
Is it a shock entry between the Alpine and Rebels? I don't, Racing Bulls. I don't think so. I think we have to go lower than that. I think we have to
That's my
go
thing. That was my thinking with
7, 8, 9,
Gabby.
10th, and 12th, 11th. So you've gone for Gabby, and Audi are currently ninth in the standings. So definitely a surprise top 10 that would be. I am going to go just under the Racing Bulls, and I'm going to go for Oliver Behrman.
Yeah, yeah. He's certainly been the other one, right? Like the you've got those four, the two Alpines and the two Racing Bulls, and I think Ollie Behrman
Yeah.
has really been outperforming his car. So I
The
think that's a
Williams have
great
probably
shout.
been a bit better than the Haas lately as well. So I do think it would
The
be a more, if
Hasses
I said
the
some,
Hasses have really dropped off, so they haven't really. I don't
yeah,
think they've been bringing
it would
really any
be
updates.
quite a big surprise.
I
But my
agree.
theory is,
It's a good enough for the rando. I accept Ollie Behrman
yeah,
as your
I
random
think
pick.
because he's young and this track,
It's for
in
young
my
people.
opinion, suits young people.
There we go. There we go. You've heard it here first
Right,
and probably last.
what's your grid rival looking like? What condition are we in? We know that you've got a shit ton of money, but are you loaded up with contracts?
I am relatively loaded up with contracts. I don't want to give too much of my gameplay away, but I am loaded up with some contracts. I currently don't see any reason to break any or many of those contracts. But I do have so much money in the bank now that I feel quite confident that I could do that. But I'm gonna like my worry here is for those who weren't listening to the pod last time, I made £8 million last week, and what goes up must come down. So I do feel like maybe I should change to protect myself to kind of secure some of that money. But like they say in the casino, sometimes you just got to let it ride. So I'm currently weighing up that as an option, but I feel like there's a winning team here. That being said, as you discussed on the pod last time, you felt like you had a winning team at the last Grand Prix, and objectively you did. But look, DNFs happen, and who can
You never know.
predict
You never know.
somebody's car stopping or somebody's power steering failing or whatever? It is what it is. This
Exactly.
game is a little bit of skill, but there's an awful lot of luck in it.
Oh, of course, there's always
Of
going to be
course,
luck. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I've got one driver on a contract,
Oh, you better not
so
forget to put somebody. You better not forget.
I need to pick four drivers and a constructor.
Luckily for
So
you, it's not a sprint week, so you don't. You can wait until Friday's over and have a good look at practice, which is
good
probably
measure
that's
up.
that's
Good measure up.
I will have a good look on Friday at the end of practice, and I suspect that I will be like, oh, you know what, I'm going to leave it as it is. But that's the beauty of not having the sprint weekend is you got a couple practice sessions there to have a good look, then you can nail your colours to the mast, and then you can have a look at P3, FP3 if you're so
Feeling
inclined. But
cheeky.
but if you forget, it's not the end of the world because you've got a team in. So that's the most important thing that you pick five drivers and a team.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm gonna make a prediction. I'm winning grid rival this week.
Okay, Okay, so my prediction is
Um,
there'll be a safety car. It's not that outrageous of a prediction, but I think there'll be a safety car, a full one, not a VSC. I think there'll be a full safety
oh,
car this
full
week.
on.
Full safety car, and I think and Ryan thinks he'll beat me at Grid Rivals, and I hope
I
neither of
also,
those are
I
true.
also, I also think, I think a big boy. No, actually, I don't. It's this pretty simple track. I was going to say I see a big gun crashing out, but I don't see them crashing out. Do I see an engine failure? Oh, maybe I see an engine failure.
I think you're more like if you're going to talk about big boys doing something silly. I think they're more likely to crash into each other rather than crashing out.
Well, when I say an engine failure, I didn't mean to sound stupid there. As in, out of the 20, two cars, there
There is
might be an engine
definitely going
failure.
to be an engine
There's been a
failure.
lot this year.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, I think one of the big boys will have an engine failure.
Oh,
So
I
we're
think
talking
I also don't.
Ferrari, McLaren, Mercedes,
That's
Red
not.
Bull.
That's also not even a surprise. I mean, that's happened at every single race, right? That one of
Yeah,
the big boys has
this
had a
is
problem.
this is probably starting to sound like a stupid prediction. Um, I think that one of the McLarens will have an engine failure. There we
Okay,
go. Specifics.
there we go. I like that. I think that there will also be an engine failure, and I think that when it rains, it pours. So I'm going to predict it's Charles Leclerc who suffers something. Wouldn't it be? You'd at this point the old Simpson meme. He's already dead. It would be really quite heartbreaking if it happened to him. But given
What
where
about
he is at the moment, but
Russell?
I mean, if it happens to Russell, I think we'd see a repeat of that picture of that meme of him with his hands on his head and crying his eyes out. So
I think he'd retire.
well, he'd
Oh,
definitely retire from the race if his engine fails.
yeah.
We
Is it? Yes. Well, is Lewis bringing anyone to the race this week?
no idea,
Who do we,
no idea. I have texted his mum, but she hasn't got back to me.
Austria? Austria could be a good chip for the Gal pals.
Love that. I tell you what, as well, those Austrian mountains in the sunshine in the summer. Oh, what a beautiful place to be. And if you happen to catch a Formula One race whilst you're there, then
Result.
result. I mean, what an amazing part of the world. So beautiful, lovely. Okay, well there you go. That was a relatively short and sharp preview. Can you believe
It
we've managed
was.
to do a
It was.
podcast in less than an hour? It's ridiculous.
Yes.
Amazing.
Record.
We never thought it would happen, but it has happened. Who predicted that? Nobody.
No one.
Nobody.
Nobody.
Fantastic. All right. Well, let's see how Austria goes. What a weekend we have in store for us. If you're here in the UK, stay safe with this ridiculously hot weather that we are having. Enjoy the World Cup. Enjoy Austria. And we will see everyone next week when we will be debriefing yet another fantastic
The
Grid
Austrian
Rivals
Grand Prix.
victory for me and indeed the result of the Austrian Grand Prix.
Yes, we will kind of be doing that.
Toodles.
Okay, ciao, mate.
Bye bye.